Water quality. Water quality is a term used to describe the physical, chemical, and biological characteristics of water. Water quality can affect how suitable water is for drinking, aquatic life, recreation, agricultural, or industrial uses. There are many different factors or parameters to consider when thinking about water quality. Here we will discuss the primary and most common parameters measured to assess water quality. Discharge, turbidity, substrate, and temperature are common physical parameters considered when it comes to water quality. Discharge, or stream flow, is the rate at which a volume of water passes a given point over a certain period of time. It is usually expressed as cubic feet per second, or CFS. You can visualize 1 cubic foot of water as a box that measures 1 foot on each side, length, width, and height. If a stream has a discharge of 10 CFS, that means 10 cubic feet of water are passing a given point every second. Scientists and trained volunteers can accurately measure discharge using a handheld meter, or in some streams and rivers, gauges are installed and measurements can be accessed remotely. Discharge is an important physical characteristic because it can influence available animal habitat, water temperature, interactions between surface and groundwater, diversity of plant and animal species, and the amount of suspended sediment and chemicals in the water. Turbidity is the word used to describe how cloudy water appears. Water can look more turbid or cloudy if it contains dissolved chemicals, organic materials such as leaves or algae, sediment, dirt or rocks, and other suspended particles. Particles in water can scatter, reflect, or absorb light, which affects turbidity. The more materials suspended in the water, the higher the turbidity. Excessive or unnatural turbidity levels can limit the amount of light reaching plants, contribute to increased water temperatures, fill in habitat necessary for macroinvertebrates, fish eggs, and fish fry, and also provide habitat for harmful bacteria. Substrate is whatever material makes up the bottom of a stream. Substrate may be a variety of sizes, from giant boulders to tiny particles of silt. The substrate material influences the stability of the stream bed and bank and provides important habitat to fish and other stream life. Temperature refers to how warm or cold water is. Temperature is critical for several reasons. First, it affects the amount of oxygen that can be dissolved in water, which is necessary for stream life such as fish to breathe. Next, temperature influences photosynthesis for algae and larger aquatic plants. Temperature also affects the rate that organic material decomposes. Finally, temperature can affect how sensitive organisms are to pollution, parasites, and disease. Now that we have explored how some of water's physical characteristics affect water quality, let's focus on some common water chemical parameters, including dissolved oxygen, nitrogen and phosphorus, conductivity, and pH, and explore how they influence water quality. Dissolved oxygen simply means oxygen dissolved in water. All aquatic organisms rely on some level of dissolved oxygen for life. Fast-flowing and/or cold bodies of water tend to have higher dissolved oxygen levels than slow-moving and warm water. Dissolved oxygen levels vary because of temperature, photosynthesis, which releases oxygen into the water, and the use of oxygen by bacteria and other organisms. Nitrogen and phosphorus are both essential nutrients for plants and animals. However, in excess they can lead to a water quality issue called eutrophication, a situation where increased phosphorus and nitrogen levels provide food for algae, stimulating excessive growth. As the algae die off, decomposing organisms that need oxygen, such as bacteria, can deplete the amount of dissolved oxygen in the water, which fish and other stream life also need. Nitrogen may be found in water as ammonia, nitrites, and nitrates. Most phosphorus is usually present in surface water as phosphate. Runoff from crops or lawns that have been fertilized or discharge from sewage treatment plants can increase the amount of nitrogen and phosphorus in an aquatic system. Nitrogen and phosphorus levels can be influenced naturally from factors such as soil type. Some pollutants, including nitrates and phosphates, are associated with water's conductivity. Conductivity is a measure of water's ability to pass an electrical current. It's a useful measure of water quality because a high conductivity reading could indicate the presence of a pollutant, such as a nitrate or phosphate, and warrant further testing. If you've ever heard someone talking about something being acidic or basic, they are talking about pH. pH is measured on a scale from 0 to 14. Anything from 0 to 6 is considered to be an acid. 8 to 14 is considered a base, or also called alkaline, and 7 is neutral, neither acidic or basic. Every 1 unit change in pH is really a tenfold change in how acidic or alkaline the water is. For example, a pH reading of 9 is 10 times more alkaline than a pH reading of 8. Most aquatic life does well in surface waters with a pH between 6.5 and 8.5. pH of water can be influenced by local rock and soil types, mining, and acid rain. The biological or living organisms in a body of water can also affect water quality. Some that can negatively influence water quality are microscopic parasites and bacteria such as E. coli. Many of the physical, chemical, and biological variables of water quality are affected by natural features such as geology and weather, and they are also affected by human activities within the watershed. A watershed is an area of land where all water that falls over that area drains to a common point. All surface water within a watershed drains to and is transported out of the watershed by rivers and streams. Because water quality is influenced by the activities within a watershed, our streams, rivers, and lakes can be thought of as a report card for our watershed. You might think that the source of most human pollution can be easily identified. Point source pollution is pollution which comes from an identifiable source, such as a pipe or ditch. Examples of point sources include city sewage treatment plants, factories, some storm sewers, and large livestock feedlots. Most of Montana's pollution, around 90%, comes from unidentifiable sources. This type of pollution is called non-point source pollution. Non-point source pollution is difficult to impossible to trace back to a source. We all contribute non-point source pollution. Examples of this sort of pollution are chemicals applied to lawns, dog poop and other animal waste, and oil and other chemicals that are deposited on roads and parking lots. Laws, such as the Clean Water Act, help to regulate point and non-point source pollution. But we can also all do our own part to help keep our water clean. Positive actions you can take are known as best management practices. Here are some best management practices for you to try. Let plants grow. Leave natural vegetation along the edges of water. They help to stabilize the stream bank. Avoid mowing within 10 to 25 feet from the edge of a stream or creek so those plants can do their job. The only plants you should remove from stream banks are noxious weeds. Weeds do not stabilize the bank as well because of their shallow roots. Also, the stream disperses their seeds. Pick up any dog poop and other animal waste near the stream. Dog poop and other waste carries harmful bacteria and other microbes. Avoid applying chemicals such as pesticides, herbicides, and fertilizers near streams and rivers. Don't dump lawn clippings or other vegetation into or near streams or rivers. To learn more about how the Clean Water Act helps protect water quality, watch the module Water History and Culture in Montana. This presentation was developed by the Montana Watercourse with funding from the Environmental Protection Agency.